Donald Trump is fed up with Zelensky. After months of going back and forth trying to broker a deal between Russia and Ukraine, Donald Trump finally declared a deal has been reached with Russia, but not with Ukraine.
And if I can solve it because of a certain ability, that would be great. And if it doesn't happen, I will say that I think Russia is ready. And a lot of people said Russia wanted to go for the whole thing. And I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky, and I hope that Zelensky, I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far it's been harder, but that's okay. It's all right. But I think we have a deal with both. I hope they do it because I'm looking to save, and you know, we spend a lot of money, but this is about a lot of humanity. This is the worst. I get the pictures, the satellite pictures. I've never seen anything like it of the fields after some of these battles. It's horrible.
So Trump accuses Zelensky again for basically not being cooperative and coming to an agreement with Russia. And what he says that's really important is that if Ukraine doesn't agree to this offer and to these terms right now, they're about to lose a whole lot more. And he basically says they'll probably fight for a while, but they'll end up losing their whole country. Trump knows what's really going on the ground. He has a lot of intelligence reports, and he knows in the background what's happening on the ground, that Ukraine really has slim chances of not only taking Crimea, but the other regions back. And there's a bigger chance that they're going to end up losing even more land and possibly their whole country. And that's what Trump is saying right now is, while you can keep what you have, you should come and make a deal, because I'm honestly surprised that Russia even considers to make a deal with Ukraine at this point, where they recognize only Crimea as part of Russia and not the other four regions. I think that's a really good deal for Ukraine to make at this point, and it's really surprising that Zelensky is not making that deal. We need to understand that Zelensky is controlled by the EU LGBTQ globalists that sit in Brussels, like von der Leyen and Macron, who is a banker. And basically these people are controlled by the globalists, the Biden community in US, the Democrats, the Rothschilds. And it's not in their interest to have peace, because if there is peace in Ukraine, Trump is going to claim that he made this peace. Russia is going to get the sanctions off. I mean, this is not what the globalists really were planning. The globalists in EU and in US, the Rothschilds, they were planning a big massive war, and that's what Trump talks about in this last interview. He says this is more about humanity, because he has the intelligence reports that this was supposed to be a war with Russia, and a nuclear exchange was supposed to happen between US and Russia. Why would anybody want that besides the globalists? And the only reason they would want a nuclear war between US and Russia is to destroy both US and Russia. And once that's done, they would end up escaping to places like Australia or New Zealand, and they would start their new global world. They would start the new world government. That was the plan, which didn't work out, obviously. But this guy, Zelensky, he's on the old plan still. He doesn't understand that things have changed. Trump just keeps on saying, guy, what you need to understand, that we're not going to come and fight for you. And we're not going to help you like Biden did, because this is going to cause a war with Russia, which we're not interested in. Like Marco Rubio says, we have more priorities than this. This is not a priority anymore.
At some point, we determine that we're just too far apart and not enough movement is happening. We may need to move on to other priorities because there are a lot of important things happening in the world. This is not our war. We didn't start this war. We're trying to help everybody end it. But they may be too far apart, but I hope not.
But Zelensky pushes for war.
Тому що як тільки ми починаємо говорити про Крим, про наші суверенні території тощо, ми заходимо в формат, якого і хоче Росія, затягування війни. Тому що швидко домовитись про все не вийде. Ми 12-й рік воюємо. Це вже відповідь, чи можна з Росією домовитись в цілому, це риторичне питання. Чи можна домовитись з Росією швидко? Ні. Без тиску неможливо.
Trump hit back in his Truth Social post saying, if he wants Crimea, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired?
He doesn't understand that reality has changed, that for US and for the people in the United States, destroying Russia and also being destroyed by Russia at the same time is not a priority anymore. Things have changed, and EU really has become an enemy of US. Like yesterday, EU slapped some fines on Apple and I think Nvidia. So with this fine, we can see that not only EU is starting to be an enemy to US in the tariff and in Ukraine, but they're also starting to fine the US tech. And this is just the start of what's going to happen. I think EU, like Trump said, is an entity that was designed against the US. It's an entity that's anti-US, and we're gonna see more and more where US really starts being antagonistic and possibly outright becomes an enemy of EU, just like World War II, where Germany took over all these other countries and they ended up fighting against Russia, and US ended up siding with Russia. I think history is gonna repeat again because it's not in US interest to see a strong Europe, because Europe is a colony of US and Ukraine is a colony of US as well. And we're seeing where US is telling its colonies, its mercenaries in Ukraine, that we're done with this for now. What you need to do is come to terms with reality on the ground. But if Zelensky doesn't come to terms with reality on the ground and keeps on listening to the delusional globalists in Brussels, the LGBTQ satanic community in Brussels, I think Russia is going to keep on taking more and more and more until there will be a real breaking point where there will be a capitulation signed either by Zelensky or maybe not by Zelensky, where it'll be someone else, because Zelensky will run to Macron's bedroom one day and stay with Macron in Macron's bedroom. So that's the environment we have right now, where US understands what its priorities are, and its priorities is not to destroy Russia and be destroyed at the same time, but its priorities are to make sure China doesn't become a world superpower, and then a hollowed out US with no manufacturing, with only a US dollar power, is not going to survive a strong superpower, China. That's what the US finally understood, and finally they ended up getting rid of the globalists for now, but they're lurking in the background. The globalists are everywhere. They're not only in EU, they're everywhere. Their tentacles are everywhere in the world right now. In all of these countries, the Soros people are everywhere. So humanity and a lot of these nations are in real danger right now, and a lot of these people are brainwashed in these countries, not only in U.S., Canada, and EU, but also you'll be surprised in some of these more traditional countries, the globalists are brainwashing these people with these messages that are anti-human, anti-mankind, and they're also trying to get these people to fight with each other. Specifically right now, uh, they're getting these people to be very Russophobic in ex-Soviet states, and I mean one of these ex-Soviet states where there's a lot of Russophobic anti-Russian propaganda that's that was being financed by USAID. Now USAID is gone for now, but see, the globalists are lurking in the background. Their tentacles are still working. They're just waiting for a chance to either get rid of Trump or any other Trumps that would come and sabotage their anti-human plans that they have going for centuries for now. So we'll see what happens, but things are not going to look good for Ukraine for now. And hopefully, the delusional people will come to their senses.